Welcome to Hard Work Heroes. My name is Amandeep. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my absolute pleasure to introduce our remarkable guest on today's show. Born to Sijo Jacques Patenaude and Linda Patenaude, the visionary founders of Fang Shen Do, Way of Survival, the largest chain of Kung Fu schools in Canada, our guest has truly carried forward their legacy with pride and passion. Please welcome Sifu Stephane Patenaude. Sifu Stephane officially began his Fang Shen Do training in 1986, but his journey started much earlier, being exposed to this art form at the tender age of 4. As a seasoned speaker, trainer, and martial artist, he has dedicated his life to making a significant impact in the lives of children, helping them boost their self-confidence, self-esteem, and nurturing their leadership qualities. In addition to his martial arts expertise, Sifu Stefan is a devoted family man, happily married to his wonderful wife, Laura, and a proud father of 2 children. Balancing his personal life and professional pursuits, he also runs a successful construction business while being the owner of one of the thriving Fang Shen Do schools. One of his ambitious goals is to elevate Sanshou, a prominent Chinese martial art, to the status of an Olympic sport, showcasing his dedication to advancing the field of martial arts on a global stage. Please join me in welcoming a true champion of empowerment and a multifaceted leader, Sifu Stefan Patenaude, to the show. Welcome, Master.
Hello, Amandeep. Thank you very much. I couldn't have said it better. You said this introduction so well. I was actually waiting for who you were presenting, and I realized that it was me.
That's amazing. It's always fun to be, yeah, go ahead.
This is also a wonderful thing that you are doing, you know, of showcasing different people and so on. So thank you very much for having me today.
You're welcome, Master. It's a pleasure to always be around you virtually till now, soon in person, but it's always great to learn from you, Master. So I'm excited to have you on the show, Master, and to know more about you. So my first kind of knowingness to know is, what is Fang Shen Do? I want to know, Master.
Well, Fang Shen Do equals or translates to way of survival. It's a style that the base of our system is Wing Chun. As some people know, my father was the first Canadian-born student from an original student of Bruce Lee. So the lineage is second generation. And this is something where my dad was a small town family man, like not family man, but from a family of farmers. He didn't speak English. He weighed 135 pounds, 5'6", had multiple issues in the past with self-confidence, with maybe going in the wrong direction with the law. He was like in a biker gang, like all sorts of stuff. So martial arts really was like a savior to going in the right path. My mom was also a big reason why he was going from maybe a wrong direction to the correct direction. And Fang Shen Do really came after years and years of training. And the evolution of his journey was really to incorporate the personal development elements that were maybe not as evident in the Wing Chun program that he had in the time. So Way of Survival was inspired by Bruce Lee. And if you know, like martial arts history, Jeet Kune Do, which, you know, way of the fist, for us, it's just way of survival. And in life, it is always about thriving, succeeding, winning. And sometimes when you talk about self-defense or self-protection, you think of survival, surviving a situation, surviving moments in life that are going to be challenged. You're going to have moments that are going to test you as a human being. Your tenacity, your resilience as a person is tested almost on a daily basis. And sometimes that overcomes a lot of people because sometimes people think it's rainbows and pink skies all the time, where everything's going to be easy peasy just because you got a positive attitude. You're going to go through challenges, and you're going to have to survive moments of discomfort. And in a nutshell, Fang Shen Do is about total protection, physical, mental, but utilizing various ranges of combat into one self-defense system. So punching, kicking, grappling, what's called trapping or immobilization of the hands, feet, and then psychological and the weapons range are all integrated into one program to try to complete the practitioner in all areas. So you want to be well-rounded because, like in life, you'll be thrown curveballs along the way. You'll be thrown situations that, if you're just prepared for one reaction, then you might not have what it takes to survive whatever is thrown at you. So in a nutshell, Fang Shen Do is about developing the human body, human mind, and preparing people to defend themselves in any aspect of combat, if need be. Obviously, no self-defense in any specific moment is the best thing. Never take a chance with your life to defend yourself in situation that could be otherwise taken care of verbally, right? And awareness, preventing are all more important aspects of training.
Yes, Master. This brings me to one of the points which I've seen common with warriors back in the day when I do read about them. The one thing I've always seen is the first thing is to always avoid the confrontation if it's possible, and then if it's not possible, if they are not understanding, then probably go into defense. Is that true, Master? Like you always.
It is so true. It is so important. And again, respect of life, respect of my own life, respect of other person's life. You never know when you get in an altercation, you never know to what degree that altercation can go. And are you willing to take a life? Are you willing to lose your life? I've been in many situations in the past, and we all go in situations where we feel the need to prove ourselves or whatever. And whatever situations happened in the past are in the past, but I've had multiple of those situations, and I have a few scars to show for it, whether it's my hands or my face or other people's faces too. But again, it's not something that, I'm proud of. It's something that happened. Could they have been avoided? Yeah, most likely, yes. And, I've had some friends in the past that have died from, going in a situation and thinking, hey, we're just getting into a fight, and then person falls down, hits his head on the sidewalk, dies. Other large friend that I knew was very big, and he went to separate two people from a street fight, and guys pulled a knife, stabbed the guy, hit him right in the heart, dead. He was 21 years old. So, I have a lot of my own life experience from it, of being in them, of being exposed to it. I worked in security for multiple years, and I've seen a lot of stupid people do a lot of stupid things. A lot of times, most of the time, drugs, alcohol is involved in the equation, right? And then the other part of the formula is a lot of times is jealousy, insecurity, relationships, people being jealous of things. In bars, you see a lot of that stuff, but in regular life as well, you see people who have their insecurities are so high, they can't trust their partners. They don't deal with things maybe the correct or the best way sometimes. And then anger comes into play, right? There's anger and danger. There's only one letter that changes. Danger is always there when there's anger involved. When people are angry at things, when people say, I see black or I see red when a certain situation happens, that is very concerning, because it just takes that wrong or right moment, where it'd be a wrong moment of being passionate about something, right? And you see this all the time, crimes of passion or different things, jealousy, anger, hatred, like all of these things. It's in the fraction of the moment where somebody is at a weak point of themselves, and then it's expressed out with violence, and that's never the answer in anything that we do.
Yes, yes, master. I've seen those things happening, and then eventually, being in military myself, we were trained a certain way as well. Uh, I have seen certain things where I was onboard submarines, master. So there was a time when one of the submarines was going on patrol, so war patrol. And then what happened is, just the night before it was supposed to go on patrol, what happened is there was a human error, and the torpedo, it was loaded. It was loaded for war patrol. So the torpedo somehow got activated and it blew. The submarine blew right then and there. So uh, uh, when the divers went in to get the bodies, they weren't able to find any body because it was already submerged. But then what they told me was life changing. So, not exactly altercation, but how life changes in a moment is what I'm referring to here. The people who were on board, they didn't even think that they won't be there anymore. So when the divers went in, or when they came out, my duty was there to. I was assigned duty on that spot for that time. So when they came out, they were telling me that the bodies were so mashed. You know how you put extra water in dough, so it starts coming out of your fingers here. That's exactly what they felt for the bodies and for the skin. So those that was a it does change your mind that way to see those kind of events happening. So avoiding those situations, obviously in that situation wasn't avoidable, but yes, if you can avoid, yes, master, I concur. I
And going
concur.
back to, things that can change in a moment, in an instant, and going back to, what is Fang Shen Do? Fang Shen Do is really an evolution that began with a story of love, really. It was my mom and dad leaving with a gym bag. My mom was 14 years old. She was pregnant with me, and
Okay.
they left home with no support and no, a lot of anger that was behind it, of just back in those days of being pregnant out of wedlock, all of these things. Having a gym bag, lived in a bachelor apartment for a few years with 2 forks, 2 spoons, 2 knives, 2 plates, 2 glasses, and created a dream, right? Created something for themselves. So the basis of Fang Shen Do, really, the story, is about family. It's about love. It's about having a dream, pursuing a dream, following through on a dream, going through the challenging times, appreciating the good times. And they did that for till my parents passed away in a motorcycle accident. So when you talk about, boom, things, you can have a plan, everything can go so well, and then boom, from one day to the next, it changes dramatically. So living in the moment, and one thing that's always, when I present or speak or whatever, is one of the pictures of my parents, maybe about an hour or two before they passed away in this accident, that said, cherish yesterday, dream tomorrow, live today. And that was the picture, or that was a picture above them in their picture. So when I talk about these things, it's not just something that I've heard about. It's something that I know way too well, and that have had to gone through. You never forget it, but you adapt and you adjust with life.
Yeah.
Sorry to get off topic a little bit, but it goes back to relating to living in the moment, and
Yes.
what is the story behind the story, right?
Yes. And sorry to hear about your parents, master. I never conveyed my condolences. I did see some of the videos on your profile of your parents. riding the bike. So that was a good bike, though. That was a really good bike.
Nice chopper. My dad loved Harley Davidsons, and yeah, that was their 40-year anniversary wedding renewals. So
Okay.
that happened 1 year before they passed away. So I could tell you other stories of the last year and a half of their life
Mhm.
and tell you that you couldn't explain why they had put urgency to doing things. But when you look at the picture, the whole picture, it's really it's fascinating to see what was done in a year and a half before they passed away. That was not a coincidence at all.
Yeah, nothing is a coincidence. Yes. We'll talk about that some other day, Master. We'll
For
talk about
sure,
that. Yes.
for sure.
Um, Walk me through the FSD training as a child. Like, what happens? Does somebody get inducted in the training, or is it how does it start?
Well, everything starts, at basic level where most people will get introduced with a free week trial just to see if they like what they do. I think in today's society, people have less and less patience. They have less and less dedication to a practice, whether it be in sports, whether it be in martial arts, in different arts, in different dance, whatever. People want to be the superstar when they start classes, right? They want to be a world champion and not go through the training. It doesn't work that way, unfortunately. We are in a society of give me a pill to get strong, give me a drink to get fast. It doesn't work that way for this specific thing. But once people start, the first thing that we teach people is really about respect. It's about manners, and it's about, and when we say respect, it's about, being on time. It's better to be an hour early than 5 minutes late kind of mentality. And these are the first steps in basics where it's funny, but a lot of people don't respect time. They don't respect maybe wearing a certain uniform. They don't want to train a certain days of the week. But when they start, if they are not ready mentally, if they are not ready to understand what the mutual agreement is when we train together, where I'm going to try to guide you, teach you the techniques, teach you the basics. If the person is not open-minded and ready to learn, and if the cup of knowledge is full, they will not be able to proceed, or they will, but maybe much longer. So they must be humble when they come. You get people who are humble and some people who are really not confident at all and they want to get boosted up. And then there's the people who need to be humbled, meaning you come to a class and you're a big talker, you talk a lot, you say you're good at this, at that, and that. After a while, it don't matter how good you say you are. When you put yourself on that mat in front of the person in front of you, everything will be exposed. And a lot of times in today's society, there's a lot of good talkers, a lot of people who can make videos about themselves and Photoshop and do whatever. And nobody ever questions it, right? Nobody ever tests it. Nobody ever says anything about it, really. But in physical arts, such as martial arts, if you say you're a black belt, you better move like a black belt when you face one, or else you're going to have a humbling experience at that moment.
Yes.
And again, our system is really about having a goal, right? The goal is getting to a black belt. That should be the first goal you have. And there's steps to progress. And as you progress, you learn a little bit more, but it all starts. The field must be ready. It must be prepared properly in order for it to bloom, right? So very important.
Yes, Master. Thank you for that. Talking about the progression in the Fang Shen Do schools, I did read about mastery as the progression, the standards. Please share a bit about that.
Well, with every rank, there's an association with those letters. And when you go through, I could have brought the manual here today and just go through it with you. But every letter as you go signifies a foundation for that level. The M would go for the basic level, which stands for manners. So that's where it goes into. And every rank will be explained. There's not a big point of me explaining all those letters today because that one, there's not enough time. And two, like I said, if we do this again, I'll bring that and I'll show you exactly what it is. But this is a part of what's in the student manual. When people start, they have like some reference forms at home, some online training that they can do on their own time. And then there's this book that they print and they download, and they can follow along the theoretical questions that are in there, and as well as the physical oral things that they have to prepare for their exams as well. And that's all part of the forward progression of learning the art of Fang Shen Do.
And master, anybody can go from, let's say, the first level to the black belt, and there is no specific time for it, or there is a general time frame that you have observed over your experience, like your experience till now. Is there any time frame there?
There's no time frame. Can anyone do it? Anyone who is willing to work, anyone who is willing to invest their time, their energy, can accomplish a black sash. It is not an easy journey. I know some schools, like Taekwondo schools, that will guarantee you being a black belt in 1 year and a half or stuff like that. Like, that's impossible. It's impossible for some reasons. The biggest reasons is the physical reasons. You cannot get to the natural stage of martial arts without the repetitions of putting your body through. Now, again, if the person is training 12, 13, 14 hours a day for a year and a half, would it be possible to improve? Of course. Do people train 12 to 14 hours a day? No, they do not. So we are not like a belt factory. We're not here to have the most black belts in history, or the biggest school with that has never been the goal, and it will never be the goal. We want to have concrete students with concrete results that can take care of themselves in any situation. The amount of black belts we produce is not really that important. The quality of black belts we produce is the most important. So if someone is willing to understand that it's going to take X amount of years to reach there, but they need to be dedicated. They need to have the desire to get there, because it will not be something that it will be given to them, that will happen on its own with guarantees. I have no guarantee for you. It's really, are you willing to go through it? It's like in military. Does everybody have a chance to become a general?
Everybody has a chance, but not everybody becomes.
Technically, yes, but no, right? It's as simple as that. So it's very comparable. My dad enjoyed the military. He worked on a military base, but as a civilian, not in the military per se as a soldier. But we always enjoyed the structure of military. I don't always agree with military or how we utilize military, or even if, and that's a whole other conversation. But the structure, the chain of command, the respect, the order, the discipline, the attention to taking care of ourselves physically, mentally, that has always been a big core of our system as well. Just that is a big influence to the art of what we do.
And that's why I feel inclined to learn the form. I was just wondering if there is any way you can come down to this part of Ontario, because I know you're in Orleans right now. I was wondering if you'll ever open your school here. I would be looking forward to join.
We had a school in that area, right? We had a school on Yonge Street like many years ago.
Okay.
The challenge with that was the student or the owner that owned it lived in Ottawa. So he was driving 3 days a week to drive to Toronto. And he had a job and he had another dojo here in Ottawa. So we couldn't sustain driving up. I can't believe he did it for that long. But he was such a dedicated person, and he was so dedicated to my parents. He was actually, him and his wife were with my parents when they passed away in that motorcycle accident.
Okay.
So, you know, the nice thing about technology today is I don't really need to be wherever to teach somebody.
Yeah.
I do a lot of one-on-ones via Zoom. It's very beneficial to do so. And then we'll meet every few months or stuff like that, or different retreats. But somebody can learn martial arts one-on-one this way. Even if you have a partner at your spot that you could do things together, then you'll get the full benefits of training. And if you can incorporate the one-on-one with the master, with the teacher, then you can continue applying those lessons with your partner that you've dedicated or chosen. But I do a lot of stuff one-on-one where people don't need a partner. And in some cases, obviously, they will need a partner. But the beauty of technology and Zooms and all this is you can do it anywhere. That's so much fun.
Okay, so I never knew that. I thought you do need somebody to correct you. Okay, this has to be like this, like how a personal trainer corrects you on the form. That was my perception. That's what I'm
You know, obviously, which is better? Yes, touching the person, grabbing the person, do it. Yes, but visually can correct anybody the same way. But again, you have to have those moments where you have the contact physically to understand, okay, something that you think is the right way, you see it, you could say, I got it perfectly, but that missing element energetically or intensity, you can't get that without actually feeling it, right? How do you do that movement? When I put somebody down and like, ow, what the heck? But that's how it is. So that's why a lot of times when the uki is kind of like the partner of the instructor. Like the person I take for a demonstration, I take that person. And that's the person a lot of times will learn the most because they know exactly what it feels like. And they're also become the toughest because they get to feel things that other people don't get to feel on a regular basis, but they get a better understanding of it. Not everybody wants that. A lot of people say, oh, I don't want to do it on me. Do it on him. Or do it on her. But to truly be courageous in life, you got to put yourself in situations where, you know, it's going to hurt sometimes. It's going to be uncomfortable sometimes. And that's a big, big lesson in when you see people who are saying, can you do it to me instead? Those are the people that you can have some of the traits that are necessary to go beyond the levels. Everybody will become a white belt. Not everybody will become that black belt.
Okay, yeah. That is something I always wanted to know. Teachability is really key here, which I'm grabbing. And then also the second thing is be willing to accept that pain. I'm using the word pain so that you understand this form feels like this. So, and you get that personal experience. So when you, let's say, confront somebody, you'll remember, okay, it pains like that. So maybe at least it gives you another way, what do you say? It gives you an inkling that if I do this, it'll lead to that. At least you are aware that it'll lead to that. So I am grabbing what you're saying, Master, here. I am understanding it a bit, but I am getting it. So how has Fang Shen Do helped you in your construction business, Master? And even I read that you like playing professional softball. So how does it help you in those areas of your life?
It goes back to a foundation, right? If you have a good foundation, and in foundation we mean you have discipline, understand work ethic. You're not afraid of hard, like I'm not afraid of hard work, right? I'll get my hands dirty. It's the whole process of, you know, you talked about teachability index. It's some of the most important aspects of it. So if to me, I was always like a jack of all trades, but master of many. Anything that I tried to do or that I attempted to do, my goal was to get good at it. And always the attitude of, if he can do it, so can I. That mentality, ever since I'm 13 years old, my dad was doing seminars on this, and the seminar name was called Focus on Results, where the pinnacle of this was you're breaking an arrow on your throat. You're making 5 arrows, 10 arrows in one shot, which is 30 to 60 pounds of pressure. And you do that for 10. That's up to 600 pounds of pressure that you're putting right here on your throat, and you're walking towards a wall or somebody's pushing it at you and you're breaking it. And the sentence of, if you can do it, so can I, that comes from that seminar when I was 13 years old. I'll be 49. So I've done this for a long, long time. But that mentality was always there. So if I attempted to do construction work or sports, doesn't mean you're going to be the professional at all of them, but it just means that you're going to put enough emphasis on wanting to be the best that you can be. And then how much time are you willing to invest in getting to where you want to go, obviously. So construction was something that I've done when I was younger. It was a part-time thing. And then when I started my business back in my God, it's 30 years. So what year are we? Yeah, 1994. Sorry, 1994. September 1994. I had just turned 19 years old. And I was working in a grocery store. I was doing shelf work. I had worked there for about 8 or 9 years, since I was 15. And then I did some construction, got some of the tools. I did that for a while, then I stopped. Then COVID happened. COVID happened, and I went from 250 students at my school here in Orleans to 25 students. So that was one of the biggest slaps in the face that I've ever had in my life. It was a slap in the face for a few reasons. The first reason was that I was really on my own. It was my own freaking problem. I had sacrificed my whole career in martial arts to sacrifice for people, to be teaching classes, to be present, to be there, to be the person that everybody wanted to see. Oh, Sifu's not here today. Oh, it's not the same, right? I neglected what? My own life. I neglected my family, neglected my family dinners that I have at home. And that was just a realization of, again, going back to life goes by so quickly. Sometimes we sacrifice for not a really good reason. And I went back to all that to say, I went back to some of the trades. I started doing some construction again. I had the tools. I bought more tools, did bathrooms, did like renovation work, kitchen, stuff like that, only for people that I knew. And then referrals. A friend would talk to a friend, or somebody would see a picture and you get another job, and you go and you do that. So I did that for maybe another 2 years. I did it so much for 2 years that I got sick and tired of being on my knees and being all dirty. My back hurts, my knee hurt. And I said, I'm done. I am not 25.
Yeah.
My health is more important than the financial benefits that it gave me. And it took me away from what I enjoy doing, my quiet time, reading every day, exercising every day, practicing martial arts every day. Like, it took me away from it, because physically, getting up at 6, going to do these jobs from 7 to 3, get back home, get the kids at 3, take a nap, then you got a few hours of classes to teach. Something's gonna give, right? My energy was just like a battery that didn't have a chance to recharge. So it was completely going like this.
Yes.
and physically, but mostly mentally, just you don't have the same energy when you go teach a night class with people who want you to be excited, to be full of energy. You know, they want a certain something. And when that becomes challenging, you start to ask the questions. Well, what can I change? What do I need to change? And that's what I did. Was I successful at it? I was. I could have quit doing martial arts and just do that, but that's not what I wanted to do. And I had to cut one of them, and I cut the other one, cut construction. And you talk about professional softball. I wouldn't say professional, because professional means you have to be paid.
Yeah,
But
okay.
I play at the highest level of competitive slow pitch that Canada
Okay.
has to offer. And I play in London, Ontario every 2 weeks. So I drive by Toronto every 2 weeks. And why do I drive 6 hours to go play ball? The level of competitiveness, the level of intensity, the skills, the adrenaline that it gives me, the love and passion for doing that sport, spending time with teammates, of just being exposed in that environment that we don't have here in the Ottawa region. That's why I do that. And again, my wife asked me, when are you going to stop playing ball so you can stay home? I said, I'm still good at it, but most
Okay.
important, I still love it. I still love playing. And I know I'm getting older, but I'm still pretty young and I can still play. So she's been very supportive of that. And my daughter started softball now, so I get to coach and help her. So it's been a wonderful thing. My dream would be to be able to play with her on a team, like in a co-ed team, and just have fun with that. That would be pretty cool.
That's amazing, Master. uh, one of our brothers here in our club has played at professional level himself, but he plays baseball. So he he was pretty good at it, and I think he did get um, how do you call it? I think he got selected for
Get
representing.
drafted?
Yes, he got drafted. Yes, but then I don't know what happened. He decided not to go there, and then now he feels led to it, so he has joined it back. Similar to what you're saying. Every third or the fourth day he goes, and then he sometimes says, "Oh, my flexors are paining today. Oh, my flexors are paining today." Every second or third day he calls me, "My flexors are not." And he does mention that I'm getting old. He's 42 right now. He does mention that, but yeah, he loves playing. So I could relate. I could feel the same relation there. How he mentions it as well. So, uh, so I can say that this was one of your crucial life lessons, especially during COVID. That like you were mentioning in your own words, it was like a slap that you had to take, I guess. Other,
It
right?
was it was a moment, just like, wow. Like, sometimes you don't know what you're doing in your life, that you're committing so much for other
Mhm.
people. And then you neglect your own self, you neglect your family, you neglect your spouse, you neglect your kids, you neglect your own relationships with friends, because sometimes of business or work or whatnot, right? Like you want to make money, or you want to take care of your business because you have no choice. Maybe sometimes you don't have help, you don't have people to help you, to support you. So you neglect all of the situations. And then it takes these moments sometimes to say, wow, what am I doing? Like,
Yeah.
why am I doing that? And like, why can I? So you just come to those decisions of saying there's got to be something else. And that's what I did. And a lot of people have done that and will have to do that, because we'll all get that slap in the face, whether it's from COVID, whether it's from losing a loved one, whether it's losing in a romantic relationship. When your kids go away from, when they're no longer kids, they go away from home, like, you're going to have these slaps. Some are going to be bigger than others, but it's a part of life, and that's how we build character, really.
Yes, yes, Master. Yes. Let's talk about uh, your goals, especially towards children. You would want them to develop street self-defense techniques, and also to help them build their confidence, their self-esteem, leadership qualities. I know that you gravitate towards this. I want to know, Master, like, what inspired you to get to that? Why do you want to do that, Master?
The foundation of kids' martial arts classes, or even adults, is always about personal development. It's always about developing oneself from within, right? Develop yourself first and then spring out, right? A lot of people want to do the opposite. They want to look outwards and help other people and teach other people how good they are or how this and that, how much they know. When you have to always work on nurturing yourself, you got to be a strong hole in that fence, right? Like of life, if you want to look at it that way. But for kids, it's always about self-esteem. It's always about self-respect. It's always about respecting your elders, respecting your teachers, respecting your parents, respecting your brothers, your siblings, et cetera, et cetera. Because people today, there's less and less parenting that's going on. Less and less parents are spending time with their kids. They have to work more to make more money, to pay for a higher cost of living, which gives less time. And sometimes in the time that they have with their kids, they're signing their kids up for camps, for baseball, for basketball, for martial arts, for swimming, for dance. So that time, valuable time that you would have with your child is now gone. And it is now your child with the dance instructor, getting the dance instructor's essence or views of life or how they see things, which is great. But it's not my job to parent. It's not my job to instill these values in a child or a dance lesson or a football coach or whatever. It's the parent. And as parents, you need to raise the bar of what we should be giving our kids. Because the biggest influence kids have is their parents. If you're lazy, if you are negative, if you don't take care of your health, you can almost guarantee that the kids will be a duplicate replica of who you are. People don't like to hear this because a lot of people don't want to take responsibility for anything. And this is one of those cases where we need to educate our kids more at home. And when I say educate, I mean lead by example. Get off of your phone. Spend time with the kid. Do things that they want. Teach them indirect life lessons along the way. Of course, if you want to get allies, martial arts is a great example. Sports can be a great example. Military could be another great example if it helps. Our job as a parent, as an instructor, as a teacher, is to guide the student or the child in the right direction, but making sure that they have a strong self-love of themselves so that they have the tools that are necessary to face the challenges that life will give. That's one of the most important things when I teach martial arts. Yeah, the punching, kicking, self-defense is great. But at the end of the day, if they remember the values that I talked about first, I'm a happy person. That to me, it goes way further than punching and kicking and stuff. Hurting somebody, you don't need to be a very intelligent person to do so. Any dummy can do that. And most of the people who hurt people are dummies. By the way. Quote me on that if you want. It's just, you look at things and you see things in the news and all that stuff and gangs and this and that. These are all things that are working well today. You know why? Because these kids have no sense of oneness. They don't feel like they belong to anything. They don't feel like they have a family that they belong to. So they go and they do things to be with people that are bad influences, to feel like they're a part of something. And you look at these people getting shot and stabbed and ripped off, all of these things, because people have overlooked the part of self-love and confidence and respect and self-worth in life. And people are or ease your targets to be scooped up in these things. People get into these states because they want to escape the shitty life that they have. They're escaping that moment through drugs, through alcohol, through doing whatever mischievous things. Their life is so boring that they need to do something that is going to make them feel either numb or excited, or just something that's going to be different, which is really sad. You know, you should always have the choice to do whatever you want, obviously. But when you do something because you're escaping something, then that's the issue. You want to do something for fun, that's one thing. You want to do whatever you want to try stuff, that's one thing. But when you want to escape something, that's sad. And that's what, you know, you try to do or attempt to do in martial arts, as for me, as an example, is get those kids to feel like you always have yourself, you're always complete, and you have great people around you, and you don't need to make these stupid decisions sometimes.
So, Master, have you ever encountered anyone where you see that that child is hurting? Because in my understanding, it's always hurting. That's why you hurt others, because you're hurting yourself and your self-esteem is in question. You don't love yourself because you didn't accept love. You didn't get love, I guess. So maybe you're hurting yourself and now you want to project it out. So you hurt others to kind of get attention. That's just my understanding, Master. But have you had those kind of experiences? I'm sure you have, but I would like to know, Master, that where a child was hurting and you could see that if this shifts, then things can change for this child.
100%, you know, and in 30 years, yes, many times. And, you know, I've had the two. I've had the person who was bullied, and I've had the bully. And I always invite those kids that are bullied to bring the bully, because, and that's what I used to always love to go in schools as well, because it's always about prevention. You know, a lot of times we think of reaction, and when you're reacting, a lot of times it's too late. Preventing things, not going there, not talking to that person, not saying this, not doing that, you're going to avoid everything.
Mm.
People don't see it that way. You know, people today say, well, as ladies, as an example, I can dress wherever, however I want, how little I want, and go wherever I want. Yes, it is true. But there's a lot of freaking weirdos out there. There's a lot of people out there that have mental issues more and more. A lot of people out there that have problems, man. Like, I don't use the word problems very often, but a lot of people have problems.
Yeah, yes.
They don't see it like the way that I see things. And you can wear whatever the heck you want. Go drink, go do drugs, do all of that, and go somewhere and you're intoxicated. You cannot function properly and do that. And how many sexual assaults do you see? Again, I worked in bars. I know a lot of police officers. I know a lot of paramedics. I know a lot of, it's all the stuff that you don't hear on the news. That's the concerning stuff. That's the scary stuff. I have a daughter and I have a son. I'm more scared for my daughter than I am for my son, because there's a lot of stupid, silly, immature people out there that don't understand. Again, it goes back to the values of respect in general, of men, women, life in general.
Yes.
That element is overlooked. So it's bringing us all of these problems at this time. So
Yes.
it'll only get worse.
Yes, Master. And that's why I'm understanding why martial arts is not only about protection, but it is about values first and seeing what respect is, not only self but others, because every life matters, right? So, and the elders, and coming from India, our upbringing was about elders, but I do see here it's not that much, which is just my understanding and my observation. But our culture was all about you have to respect elders, and then we have this thing where we touch the feet of elders. It's just a way of giving respect, but it's in essence we are just um, trying to grab their energy and make it part of ours when we respect others. So we do touch their feet. It's just a tradition that we have. in India. We do it. So I do understand where you are coming from when it comes to not respecting yourself, and that's why people are hurting today. So I am getting, and thank you for sharing that, Master, because I never thought that this is how you connect martial arts and respect together, and then go out to first not avoid as much as you can to get into confrontation. But if it comes down to that, understanding that clicks, that okay, I am going to, it might happen that I might lose my life, or I might have to do something where that person gets seriously hurt. So I'm thank you, Master. I got so much out of it today because I've known you for a while, uh, and today I'm getting some more lessons. We are almost done, Master. I just wanted to ask you, uh, how many Fang Shen Do schools are there, Master, today, and how can somebody join? Listening to the show today, if they want to join, how can they join? Is there any criteria for anyone to join? Is there any age limit for somebody to join? I don't think so, but I would like to know, Master.
So class ages start at 4 years old. It'll go up to, I don't want to say 75. The oldest student I had was 71 years old. But that was not a common occurrence. Most people get to 30 and they start feeling that they're old today. And I always talk about this in fitness classes. The decisions you make today will affect your life tomorrow, meaning the later days of your life. If you've neglected your health your whole life, if you've neglected your fitness levels your whole life, you will have more problems physically in general, right? There's no one guarantees to anything. But when somebody starts, whether there's not a perfect age for them to begin. Can you start as a 50-year-old male or female? Yes, you can. Always pick something that makes you feel good. If it makes you feel good, if it makes you feel empowered, if it makes you feel like you're accomplishing something, then do it, whatever age you have. Number of schools that we have, 11 schools that we operate, mostly in the Eastern Canada. So Ontario and Quebec are the provinces now. My parents had a dream of having 1,000 schools. We do not share the same dream, but the dream can be done in a different way. I don't want to have a brick and mortar location, but teaching students thousands and tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of people online this way, and then unite once, twice, 3, 4 times a year to do our in-person training. That's a dream that I have and that I share with my family. And it's just a different way of getting to the same thing. It's always about exposing people to what Fang Shen Do, Patenaude martial arts is really all about. And as we continue to go with technology, there'll be more and more things. Eventually, maybe you'll be able to buy a robot that you can train with at home. I don't know.
With Patenaude martial arts programming in it, I guess.
Yeah, something like that. But people can go to patenaudemartialarts.com and just look for a location near to them. There's also learnkungfu.com, which is about our online services or programs, such as DVDs. Well, DVDs kind of dead for a few years now, but you could have the physical DVD and you'll have like a electronic format of how you can download at home, practice on your own. And you can choose, like there's almost 40, maybe 40, 45 different programs that you can choose from. If you like weapons training, you can choose that. If you like more fitness, you can choose that. If you like the wooden dummy, you were asking about a few things, or movements. There's a lot of forms that you could learn. You had asked me about Silam Tao, and then there's Lin Sil that are, and then there's the Mook Jung, which is the wooden dummy. And there's forms that you could learn online on your own and stuff like that.
Okay.
And then there's all the stuff we do in our curriculum done, but from your own home. But you would need a partner for that. But there's the stuff that we do as well, like from online programs, 4-week fitness programs, 4-week breathing, stretching programs, the retreat that we do on our 17-acre compound in Castleman, which is a property that when people talk about a dream, that location is what a dream is. Example, it started from a tragedy. The man who owned this horse ranch died on his horse, on a horse, and then his wife did not want to take care of that. My parents were driving by. We lived on the same street, drove by, small sign for sale, stopped by, buy the house on the spot. Boom,
Okay.
done. The sign came out at 10 a.m. 11:30 they saw it. 11:30 it was sold. Capitalize on opportunity. The property was all over. This guy was a hoarder. He would reuse stuff, recycle stuff.
Mhm.
And there was a small 1-bedroom home at that spot. And in that specific spot, we lived as a family of 6 for 2 years. I slept on the couch for 2 years.
Oh, okay.
We rebuilt every building in that place. We transformed a horse ranch into a martial arts compound with obstacle courses. We utilized the horse trails for running trails. We did like mud challenges, fitness challenges, retreats, firewalks, aero breaks. And then my parents built their dream home on the other side. And I helped with building every step, every piece of in that property. I've touched it with my hands at one point or another. And that's what that place is today. And that's the story that's so unique of our family is a few things. First is that it's a family, still run by a family, still united, still living the dream, still continuing the dream of our parents, and obviously whatever we want to implement into it. It's about really being the underdog, because my parents were 15 and 20 when I was born. The chances of succeeding at that age and today, if you take a 15-year-old and a 20-year-old and you tell me that they're going to be in 40 years with 4 kids, 11 grandkids, the odds of that being a success are extremely low.
Yes.
Extremely low. So that's another component. The other component of the story is love. Love of doing something, passion of doing something, love of people, right? Love, romantic love. Like this started with a kiss. My mom was 13 years old with a kiss, and then one thing led to another, and then this guy popped up. You know, it's not something I would wish on anybody. Like I don't want my daughter to be pregnant
Yeah.
and have a baby at 15. It's just, it is what it is. And life presents itself in all sorts of mysterious and special ways. Sorry to digress about or move away from what I was talking about, but there's so, like, you could do 15 different interviews with me and we wouldn't even scratch the surface of various areas.
I can see it, Master. I can see it. There's so much that I can learn. Yeah.
But this has been very, it's fun. This is not something I know, like I don't think I have a lot of experience at doing, but it amazes me when I talk about these things. It's just like, wow, man, we've done a lot of things, and I should take the time to write it down more, because it is a phenomenal story of growth, of personal development, of never giving up, of always being positive and upbeat in everything, but we're very real people, meaning if I don't like you, I will let you know, and if I do, I will let you know as well. And I will not be the person that's always the yes man with anybody or to suck up to anybody. And not everybody likes that, but
Yes.
that's how I am. I'd rather have an honest, straight up person with me than a fake any day. So yeah. So thank you, Mandeep.
Well, you're welcome, Master. I do appreciate your time today, Master. This has been a phenomenal conversation. I learned so much from you, Master. I will take the links from you. I will receive this and I'll put them in the description below. So if you're watching this and if you look forward to make martial arts part of your life, then Sifu Stephane Patenaude is there for you. Uh, just one last thing, Master. This is just what I felt out of our conversation. I do feel, Master, you should write a book. This is just my understanding because of whatever I could grab from you in within 1 hour. And there's so much more, and I'm sure, Master, there's a lot of value that you can give just from writing that, and I would love to read that part. And I know there's website, and you have mentioned a lot, but Master, I would really love to see a book come out someday of your history and the legacy that you are creating, Master, with Fang Shen Do. I would love to see that, Master.
Perfect. And there is a book for me that I have in mind, and it's probably, we didn't even touch upon it today, but it's the biggest thing that I guess I've overcome in my life. And that's the book that I will produce first. And it's something that I know will help influence and impact a lot of people in their own lives, because we're all searching for about the same things. We're all searching to make a mark in this world. We all want to be successful, whatever that means, whether it's financial, whether it's spiritual, whether it's relationship wise, like whichever area. We all want to be loved, and we want to love others, and that's it. And we want to love life. And at the end of the day, what more do you need than that? Nothing. So yes, it's something that it's I have, again, we talk about procrastination, and I have procrastinated a little bit about it too. So thank you for the kick in the butt. It's appreciated.
Pleasure is all mine, Master. Our Master, I do appreciate your time today. Thank you so much for giving me a valuable time. And I will be uploading this to YouTube. And I look forward to meeting you soon, Master. Hopefully someday here at Mississauga. And looking forward to see you someday, Master.
Perfect.
Looking forward to
Perfect.
meeting you. Master, take care.
Care.
Take care, Master.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.